Hello and welcome to Fundamental Games review or playthrough of Medieval Champion. Medieval Champion is a card game brought to you by Martin Renaud of Sarnia, Canada, and this game is currently live on Kickstarter. It's kind of a small scale game. It only consists of 42 cards and 12 character cards, but it still offers a little bit of fun between a few players. Let's take a look. You have a chance to battle your friends to claim the title of Medieval Champion. You'll send a set of skilled warriors into a duel to the death, playing with unique items, artifacts, and actions that work differently for every champion. There's 12 champions, 36 action cards, 4 unique item cards, and 2 unique artifact cards. So, the game setup is relatively simple. You can see I just put together a simple table on Tabletop Simulator. We've got a 2-page set of rules here. It could fold in half. And then we have 2 small decks of cards. There's 12 champion cards and 42 of the main deck. Now you'll see I added in these little cubes here. These are not part of the game because it's a cards only game, but I thought these would be handy because on the back of the character cards, Martin has designed a health tracking system that consists of the 5 skulls because each player has 10 health points. So the way we're going to play it while I play through is put a red marker on a skull to represent how much damage we've taken. And so you'll see that play out. So how does this game work? Well, first of all, we're going to shuffle up the player deck. All players are going to draw from this same deck. So it's from 2 to 4 players, they all draw from the same. And then there's 12 character decks, or character cards, I should say. And each of those cards has different skill sets. So what we're going to do is randomly draw 3 cards to each player. So we're going to player 1 on the left, player 2 on the right. And what each player gets to do is flip them over and they get to pick the hero of their choice. So we're going to say this guy is going to be, I'm just going to randomly pick him, we're going to be a demon. So that will go there. And then this will represent the character as the demon, and then these 2 cards that are left over go face down and they represent the demon's health for a total of 10 health. They don't get any bonuses. Then over here we'll just say that's going to be the card. So we're going to be playing the sturdy blacksmith. He's battling against this mighty demon. So it's asymmetrical. Each player has different powers. So if we look at the demon, he's got different color values which will be represented on the cards, and then he has a special skill where he does not miss a turn when hit with an ice bolt. So he's immune to ice bolts. Then if we look at the sturdy blacksmith, his special skill is he doesn't take any damage when he gets to use a block card. So he's very defensive that way. Alright, so next up, like I said, these are shuffled, and then the way the directions read is each player will get how many cards? Can't remember. Each player gets 3 cards, and then on their at the beginning of each turn, draw 2 cards from the action deck. So I'm just going to flip over the cards so everybody can see what they are. So this is the demon's hand, and we're just going to say the demon's going to go first. So taking a look at this, flip a coin, decide who goes first, play as clockwise if more than 2 players. So for now it's going to go back and forth. At the beginning of your turn you draw 2 cards, which we've already done with the demon, and draw 2 action cards. Yeah, players must end each turn with no more than 3 cards. So if I have more than 3 cards at the end of a turn, I have to get rid of the rest. I have to play all red, blue, and green cards on my turn, and then yellow cards I can keep in my hand to defend against opponents' attacks. So what's going to happen? I'm going to play all of my red, blue, and green cards if I had any. So let's say I play my Ice Bolt. Magic attack equal to blue -1. So I would do 3 damage -1. I would do 2 damage over here. And if we can see here, Mr. Blacksmith doesn't have anything to defend with. So he's going to take 2 damage from the Ice Bolt. And then what happens? Defender loses a turn on a successful hit. Well, that's successful because I had nothing to block it with, so defender is going to lose a turn. Then we cast a Fireball. Fireball says magic attack equal to blue. So we're going to do 3 more damage. 1, 2, 3 damage. And +1 damage to all, including caster. So it takes 1 more damage, and then the caster takes a damage. Alright. Then what? We have Revitalize. Recover life equal to your blue. So I'm going to recover 3. And then Bludgeon. Physical attack equal to red +1. So it's going to be 4 damage. And that is going to actually finish off my Sturdy Blacksmith because he's got no defense cards. So let's see if I read that correctly. Played on your turn. When you lose a turn, you have to wait till your next round to draw or play cards, but can defend when attacked. So he would have lost a turn, but he's actually dead. So quick, very fast, quick round of combat there. Poor old Blacksmith has taken a beating. So what happens now is, because he's actually died, he is out of the game, and we're going to just grab an object here. Let's say we're going to grab a, we'll use markers again, a green triangle. So we're going to use this green triangle to represent that this player has won a round. And it's a best of 3. So what happens now? Well, this player gets to continue being the demon who hasn't taken any damage. This player must now become one of the other players. So now we are a blind alchemist. They can revitalize themselves to heal, and we'll start the next round. So what we do is we put all these cards back into the main deck. We shuffle it up. Shuffle, and I draw 5 cards for each player. Oh, sorry. Technically, the demon doesn't get their extra 2 cards yet, so we'll just say those are on top of the deck. So this player goes first. They look at all their cards. They're going to save their yellow and immediately play all of their red, blue, and green. So they get to choose what sequence to play them in, but otherwise they're just going to play them all. So recover life points. First we're going to cast a Fireball. So cast a Fireball, deal damage equal to your blue. So we're going to do 3 damage to your opponent. So the demon takes 3. Alright. And I take 1 damage. Then we're going to stab the demon. When we stab the demon, they take damage equal to red, so they take 2 damage. 1, 2. Then they could do first aid, recover 2 health points because my red is equal to 2. So I'll take that one off. And then I have a bludgeon, physical attack equal to red +1. The attacker loses a turn on a successful hit, so I don't have a choice. I'm going to lose a turn, but I'm going to do 3 damage. So a really big hit to the demon. Now technically the demon had these cards, so they could have escaped a full attack or escaped a full attack. So let's say we escaped, and that's how you that's how something is no longer considered a successful hit. So he riposted to escape the bludgeon attack, which means this player doesn't miss a turn anymore. Return damage equal to yellow -1. So it's going to return yellow, which is 2 -1, and do 1 damage back. So riposte, basically a counter attack, indefensible. Alright, so this player is finished. Then this player gets to draw 2 cards. And now they must play any green cards. So for example, disarm. Force opponent to discard equal to green -1. So my opponent must discard a card. Only have a card, so that gets discarded. Then what? Well, items are played immediately. You don't have a choice. So this item goes here. And when he dies, he can consume it to revive with 2 life points. So it's a elixir of life, so to speak. Then he can do some first aid. Recover life points equal to red. So he's going to recover 3 life points. Right on, and then he's got a counterattack there. So the demon's turn is done, and it goes back to this player's turn. Now he has a special skill that he can use once a turn. He can heal that 1 damage. Alright. Now we've got some treasure. Draw cards from the deck equal to green. So he's going to draw 2 cards. And he's got steal. Steal 1 item card or action card from an opponent's hand. So steal an item card, which is in play, or an action card from an opponent's hand. So he takes this item card and plays it immediately. Mine. Then he's going to play the Ice Bolt, which he doesn't miss a turn with. He's going to do damage equal to blue -1. Demon's going to take 2 damage, but not miss a turn. That's all my attacks. So this player's turn is done. Back to the demon. Gets 2 cards. And he can return to Ice Bolt and doing 2 damage. But now this player is going to miss a turn. Wah, wah, wah. And then he's got Revitalize. Recover points equal to your blue. So 1, 2, 3. This game is a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more happening here. And then we go back to this player, and they draw 2 cards. First we're going to stab the opponent to do damage equal to red, so 2 damage by stabbing the demon. And then we're going to steal this card from their hand. Congratulations. That's their turn. Back to the demon's turn. Oh, and he's allowed to heal 1 a turn. Demon found a new item, an amulet, +1 to all attacks, cannot be stolen. And then he draws cards, 2 cards. And we have a Ultimate Blade item, +1 to red when equipped. So there we go, he's got a nice Ultimate Blade to help with. And then he's going to revitalize his 3 points, so he is healed. Go back to this character. Found another yellow card, need another yellow card, so we're up to 5 cards. Now remember, at the end of the turn you cannot have more than 3 cards, so he has to discard, oh, he only has 4 cards in his hand, so he's going to get rid of 1 block. Alright, and he's going to do his heal, so we're right back to square one. Neither player is injured. The demon gets to go. They can disarm, force the opponent to discard equal to green -1 at their discretion. So they must discard a card. You can't block one of those attacks, so he's going to discard one of his riposts. But then he found an invisibility cloak, so that gives him +1 to green when equipped. So he's got +1 to green, +1 to red, and +1 to attacks. But his turn is over. Go back to the poor alchemist here, Mr. Blind Alchemist. We're going to put that away and keep the dodge. Now it's back to this player, demon's turn. Whoops. So the demon has a dodge card now. They have a fireball, so he casts a fireball. Indefensible, so all these cards this player has can't dodge a fireball. He's going to do damage equal to blue, and he has no bonus blue. So going to do 3 damage right there, and then he's going to take a damage himself and 1 more damage to this guy. That's the fireball, and it's back to this player's turn. So he's got a legendary buckler, +1 to yellow now for good. Nice. And force opponent to discard equal to green -1. So the opponent has to discard 1 card. He's only got 1 card, so that's fine. And he gets to heal 1. Back to the demon's turn. Demon revitalizes, so that is gone, and he recovers again. So he's fully healed. Back to this guy. Cast a fireball, dealing damage equal to blue, so 3 damage, but 4 damage to the demon. 1, 2. I'm surprised the demon's not immune to fireball too. And then 1 damage to our alchemist, who's going to heal that damage with his special power. He's going to stab the demon for red. 2 damage. He's got no way to defend against it. Got no way to pump up that attack. So 2 damage. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's up to 6 damage now. He's taking a beating. Alright, demon's turn. Demon's gonna do another ice bolt. Gonna do 2 damage. Oh, I think I forgot to miss that opponent's turn that one time. So 2 damage, and they miss a turn. And then they're gonna steal an item card. So can only have 1 of each item card, I believe. Artifacts can't be stolen, so cannot steal the elixir. I broke a rule there earlier and stole that. Oops. They can be forced to discard if the player has no other cards. Okay. So let's say we want to steal the legendary buckler. Just really. Now he's got +1 to every color but blue. Alright, so his turn is over. This player misses a turn, so the demon gets to go again. Oh, he's got double bludgeon. This is going to hurt. Damage equal to red +1, and he has +1 to red. So he has 3, 4, 5 damage times 2. That's 10 damage with a double bludgeon by the demon, thereby completely obliterating our friend the blind alchemist. He never saw it coming. Bad joke, maybe. So there you have it. That is a duel of Medieval Champion. So when you're playing a 2-player game, just from the looks of it here, it is very luck-based because you're playing top deck almost the whole game, and you have to play your cards, so you don't get to reserve your red and blue and green cards from what I can read. The only thing you can reserve is your yellow cards, but then if you have cards in your hand, your opponent's going to know that you have something up your sleeve. I can see in multiple player, if you're playing 3 or 4 player, there might be a little bit more of decision making on who to do these attacks against and when to gang up and when to sit back and try to not make enemies. But otherwise, yeah, it looks very luck based. What do I like about this game? Well, this is all completely original artwork by Martin from Sarnia. So it looks like it's hand painted or hand colored, and just kind of a different take. Reminds me of the really old school Magic the Gathering cards when it first came out, Alpha Beta. There's some really unique kind of sketchy personal kind of art forms there, so reminds me a lot of that. What else do I like about it would be just the way that they incorporate the different colors. So the different colors can affect players in different ways, and if you look through the actual player deck here, you would see that there's a Shadow Warrior, there's a Devil's Daughter, there's a Balanced Soldier, so they all have their own different stats. And I'm sure if Martin wanted to, he could increase or decrease stats on these to make them even more different from one another. As it stands now, most of their stats are quite similar, only a difference of a few points here and there. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this little tabletop simulator version of Medieval Champion live on Kickstarter for about another week. And the cost is pretty low. It's just a card game after all. So give Martin a chance, check out his game, and thank you for watching Fundamental Games playthrough and small review of Medieval Champion.